Cool.
Cool. Bow, 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 bow. Nothing to do in the house.
Oh.
We got Taiga in the temple.
Didn't we say hi to her last time?
This wasn't in the rear woods though, because that was like her in the main area, and we met like Issei's hot brother.
Oh yeah,
Who
Issei's hot
they had some.
brother.
They had history.
They wanted to act like they didn't have history, but everyone could feel the tension. We could feel the tension.
Right.
Okay. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah. I wander around the hills behind the Ryudo temple. The main temple building is splendid, but in the back is a thick forest. I'm quite fond of it, so I end up coming here just for a walk once in a while. Huh?
Oh my.
And quite unexpectedly, I bump into Fujine.
Shiro, you came here to the mountain?
I was just visiting Issei. But Issei would probably stay on the main ground, so there's not much point looking for him here in the forest. Maybe my excuse was a little weird.
But doesn't Ryoto-kun become really serious when he's at the mountain?
His parents and Kuzuki-sensei are here, so there's probably not much to be done about that. There's also Castor and that brother of his, Reikon.
Oh, Reikon, that's who it is.
Now that I think about it, Ryudo Temple might actually have about as many weird inhabitants as our own house. Fujine, what brings... I start off, but somehow hesitate to ask. The bucket and dipper that she just put down already made it clear. She getting sap?
Oh. No. Why would you think sap?
Well, what's a dipper?
It's because they wash the graves when they go visit them. So she's got one of those little, like, ladle things in the bucket that they carry around the cemetery since they only have, like, all the headstones and stuff.
Okay, I thought...
But I love that you thought she was collecting tree sap.
I thought dipper was like a thing you stuck into the tree, and then you had the bucket, and it's like, okay, there are trees around. Get some sap.
They're called a tap. I think it's a syrup tap. Is that what you mean? Like a sap tap?
Yeah. Sap tap.
I just went to visit Kiritsugu-san.
I see. Kitsugu was buried here at the temple's graveyard.
Oh, so he's definitely not coming back. He is extra dead.
You know, Kiritsugu's like our dad, right?
Oh, I get him and Kotomine mixed up every goddamn time.
It's like, yeah, he's probably not coming back. He's been dead for a few years.
Bro, those K-names get me every time. I'm like, they are the same person in my brain, and then I see them on screen and I go, all right, separate them.
Fujimura Sr., together with Issei's father, took upon planning the ceremony with much zeal and ended up choosing this mountain to place his tombstone. I paused weird there. My visits were rare, or rather, never.
I'll take care of his grave. You don't really have to worry about it, Shiro.
Fujine forgives me with her usual smile.
You're still young, but he'd probably be happy if you showed up from time to time. But it is Kiritsugu-san, after all. Don't you dare trouble me with stuff that happens after my death, I bet he'd say. Well, he was that kind of guy. By the way, have you told Ilya-chan or Saber-chan about the grave?
No, I haven't.
I see. Well, I just think it'd be best if they heard it from you instead.
Those two probably have a deeper connection with Kiritsugu than I do. But even then, Ilya or Saber visiting his grave in the back of this forest, I don't think that would ever happen.
Oh, did I make you feel bad?
Oh no, not at all.
Well, that's good. I'm gonna go return these. What about you, Shiro?
If I keep going deeper like this, I'll end up at the graveyard that Fujine had just left through a different path. But once I get there, there's still nothing I can say to my dad. In that case, I'll just return to the temple with Fujine. I'll go back too. Here, let me take these.
Ah, okay, let's go.
Carrying Fujine's bucket, I start walking. Looking back one more time, I gaze at the forest. I can't see Kiritsugu's grave from here. Hey, Until next time, old man.
Damn, why are you afraid of Poppy's grave?
Feelings attached.
Uh-oh.
He's actually just afraid he's gonna be a zombie. I mean, Saber over Sakura, but like, we gotta do them both eventually anyway, right?
Right.
Saber, are you there? I knock lightly on the door, but there's no response. There's no way Saber wouldn't notice that. I guess she's not around. I saw her in the living room just before, and since I have some spare time, I was gonna ask her to come practice with me. Saber? When did Ryder get here? Yeah, I'm looking for her. Do you see her around? No, not on the way here. I see. Oh well. Alright, I wonder where she might be, but just as I'm about to head back to the main wing, Ryder catches me by the sleeve. By the way, do you have a moment? What is it? Right. Well, the bicycle has really gotten out of shape recently. The handlebars just keep turning right, and it's becoming problematic. If you have time, it would be nice if you could take a look. Oh, I see. Now she mentions it, I really have been skipping on maintenance lately, and the amount that goes into her steed would be considered luxury for any other regular bike.
Call it a steed.
It's so funny that she's into bikes because she's a rider.
Yeah, I was gonna make that comment too.
Ryder's own city bike, a so-called mamachari, had not been made to withstand things like drift turns. Alright, I'll check it out.
Drifting in a bicycle?
Before I take it out with the rest of the garbage, that is. Thank you. So, with a light parting nod, I go inside my own room, right next to Saber's. Right, I guess I'll go have a look at the bicycle.
I can't believe we got baited into thinking we'd hang out with Saber.
Whew! And before I know it, it's all done. This is bicycle number 2, all fixed and polished to a sparkle. Like the dog. At first I was just going to do the steering wheel bearings, and maybe adjust the brake cables at most. And yet, for every small part that bothered me, rather than overlook it, I kept thinking I'd be done soon anyway. So I took it all apart and ended up going over every single thing, but once it was all in pieces, the plan kept changing. Well, I guess this should keep Ryder happy. I've even replaced the consumable parts with more durable ones. This is as good as this bike will get, so it should be fine for another week or so. Oil and sweat all over me. I go back inside to have a shower, only to be met by Fujine flying out of the living room. Fujine, no running in the hallways doesn't just apply to school.
Sorry, Shiro. Please forgive me again.
Saying that, she runs away.
Senpai.
Breathing heavily, here comes Sakura. Fujine is understandable, but seeing Sakura race around the house is a bit unusual, not to mention difficult to deal with.
Her titties are bouncing everywhere!
What the heck is going on?
Ilya-san was going to come by, so I thought we'd have some tea, but it turned out that Fujimura-sensei had already snatched all the tea snacks. Storage number 1, storage number 2, even the emergency kit crackers!
Sounds like a thorough job, so that's why she's being chased. But such an uproar over a hungry tiger regressing to basic human instincts and wiping out the food reserves isn't really... I'll just make sure that she's properly scolded, that the replenishments are paid for out of her own pocket before she has the chance to escape.
But you see, she ate Saber's share, has been identified as the culprit by Ilya, yet she's intent on hiding, running, and taunting us until her heart stops beating.
Catch her immediately. I'll apologize to Ilya personally.
But when I mentioned how good... Oh.
It must be a typo or
Yeah,
something.
dude, the way these sentences have been... Ooh, okay.
But when I mentioned how good the bits of candy in those snacks were, Ilya-san just went nuts like never before.
Those are emergency rations. Gotta be Ilya, right? Or Saber?
Oh, I honestly
Was
thought
it?
that was you. Thanks, Eclipse. We'll go with
maybe.
Ilya.
Sakura, there she is. She's climbing up on the roof.
Ilya's voice is coming from the yard. Wait, the roof?
Oh, right. I'll be right there. So yeah, excuse me, senpai. Hold on, Ryder, what is the rope for?
Throwing on her sandals, Sakura goes out into the yard. Whatever Ryder's up to, I don't think I want to know. Let's look the other way for now. Nevertheless, as usual, some aspects of good game hunting came out. I should help them before this really gets out of hand. And thus, Fujine is finally captured. Ilya and Sakura are in the living room, teaching her a lesson. As for me, I'm repairing the roof that she trampled on. There might still be a typhoon this year or something. Nevertheless, I feel kind of sorry for Archer. Could it be that he got cranky because we just left him perched on the rooftop all alone? Just kidding. No way he would be. With all the smoke and whatnot, I doubt that always staying here is one of his favorite jobs. Anyway, there's still some time until dinner. I'll go get some rest someplace quiet.
Great memes.
Nothing unnecessary, only a bare wooden floor. After all, no matter how many residents we had, this place never saw much use. From the beginning, I'd forgotten it. Classic CG. I calmed down my disarrayed mind. This is where it all began. I'll indulge in this nostalgic feeling for a while. I guess I just wanted to stand there for as long as I could. Just quietly stand still at the entrance.
So you have come, Shiro.
I wonder how long did that last. All too fast, Saber's voice releases my bound body. Yeah, what about you? How long have you been here for?
Let me see. That would be since after lunch.
In other words, just about half a day.
Shiro, what is wrong? It seems like you had something to talk about, but...
Oh, nothing. Well, sure, I was gonna ask Saber to help me train, but it's already starting to get dark. So what can we do now? I just thought I'd relax here for a bit.
I see. Indeed, here's a good place to calm down and meditate. In that case, I will be leaving.
No, it's... Now the two of us are here, I want Saber to stay for a while. Yeah, like I'm gonna embarrass myself with that.
What is it?
Oh, nothing. Answering thus, I sit down and get comfortable. I'll probably soon forget all the small talk exchanged today anyway. Yet the evening sunlight dancing on the walls of the dojo and Saber's gentle smile, those will surely stay in my mind forever.
We went to hang out with Saber and literally saw everyone in the house.
Sweet Clips, 103 degrees sounds like literally hell. And I think I'd leave. I don't know how. I understand that's a little unreasonable, but just start driving north until it's not miserable.
Yeah, go literally anywhere else.
Just hop on a train and just head as north as you can get.
Yeah, train tickets are fun.
Let's go for a walk. Save the question marks, or save the exclamations for last when we can.
Yes, right? We always do the new ones.
Yeah. And we got these Saber walks to finish doing. Fuck, is today the 4th day? No, today's like the 1st day.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think we're gonna die
We
yet.
just looped. Yeah. Oh, we're about to get... After we do this, we should unlock the bridge, and then maybe Saber will protect us from Archer fucking sniping the shit out of us.
Fucking mad lad.
We go down the opposite side of the residential district from the Emiya household.
Oop, I just remembered something important. The colors are going to change very slowly.
Do you have the tint on?
Yeah. I was sitting here and I was like, damn, why is everything so orange? Because you guys can't see my wallpaper. Here, I could show the stream. So I've got this wallpaper with Team 7 on it, right? So, like, everything around here was looking real orange. And I was like, damn, that's kind of strange. I was like, I forgot to disable my flex. That's me. That's the wrong screen.
Funny.
Yeah.
That last scene was pretty orange anyway.
Yeah,
the dojo scene.
I could not tell until we switched to this one, and then I looked at everything in total, and I was like, something is wrong. This is wrong.
From the entrance of the neighborhood to the hill that Tosca's house is on, there's nothing out of place.
I know it is out of the blue, but what do you think of the difference between Rin's and Sakura's houses, Shiro?
Now you ask, I haven't really thought about it. Why all of a sudden? Do you know something strange?
No, this has nothing to do with the patrol. It is just something I've wondered about before. But it is difficult to ask in front of the people involved.
Difficult to ask, huh? Something to do with magic?
Well, they just look fucking different, dude. She's dumb. Nothing like that. Well, not really. You see, Sakura's house is, in every respect, larger. However, the Tosca family are the supervisors of this land. I just do not think it is right for a lord to have a smaller estate than a vassal.
Her feudal brain just doesn't compute. Because Tosca is the king of this land.
She's like, I'm confused. The hierarchy.
Saber's not one to worry about money. Rather, she's the type that'd prefer to be more fussy about money. But I think this is more the case of a former king having a particularly strict evaluation criteria for her colleagues. The person that governs a piece of land must have an appropriately furnished estate, is the way a member of royalty would think. Moving on.
So, I was wondering. I understand that Rin does not want to exploit a family member, but this is also a matter of a lord's duty. Before it gives rise to unnecessary quarreling, shall I advise her to either expand the Tosca household, or perhaps annex the Mito residence instead?
Annex Sakura's house.
It's so funny.
Advice like that may well end up with a sister's quarrel that will leave the whole of Fuyuki in ruins. The scary thing is, Tosca would probably agree with Saber's point. Please don't. Besides, this lord rules from the shadows, right? It'd be bad if she stood out too much, so I think she tries to live modestly in her mansion.
Now that you say it, that does seem to be the case. Rin's choice of modest lifestyle must be to hide her position as the head of the Tosca family.
Yep, that's right. So don't you tell her, Rin, you sure managed to live in poverty or anything of the sort, as the damage will be done to me instead.
That's so good. Yes, then as Rin's friends, let us pretend not to notice her efforts.
Tosca is blessed to have such an understanding ally.
I love Saber so much.
Of course, it's a misinterpretation, but it's all fine as long as the result is the same. On that note, how about we go back? There doesn't seem to be anything unusual here. After a long detour, the moon marches on. Before it gets straight overhead, let's do what needs to be done. It is surprising this game has so little Rin in it.
Yeah, we haven't really seen her much.
For Rin being a pretty popular character, I'll do have an exclamation mark in the Tosca residence. She's like in London right now, right?
Oh,
We've got like letters from her and flashbacks.
Yeah. Do we want...
Let's save the exclamations, right?
Yeah. So you want to do Big Bridge?
Big Bridge isn't actually a thing, I don't think. I think it's also something we've seen already.
Oh, okay. We already looked... Oh, that was when we met Gil.
That killed, yeah.
Kill? You're kidding.
So, like, Saber over Sakura, but we did that last time, so the next loop we're going to have double Sakura if we pick Saber here.
Okay. We'll...
Not even lunch yet. Something smells great. I guess someone's making something? This sweet aroma. This is the smell of a cake or a pie being baked. In our house, only Sakura's good with pastry. I peek into the living room and kitchen, but no one's there. Does that mean the smell's coming from Sakura's room? Sakura's got an easy bake oven in her room.
God, could you imagine?
Sakura, are you there?
Yes, senpai. Come in?
Is that Shiro? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I read that and I was like, Ilya? And then you did Ryder, and I was like, also a good guess. The one we didn't pick.
Yeah, right.
Is that Shiro?
Oh, Saber's in Sakura's room? Nice, we got Saber anyway.
I think that's you.
Excuse me, I knew it. I enter the room and nod. Smells good. There's a freshly baked pie and a fork on the desk. The fresh butter and wheat flour duo in the pie's fragrance stimulates a pre-lunch stomach like nothing else.
Shiro, I was not trying to keep this a secret from you. Sakura just invited me. This is...
Saber mumbles out an excuse, feeling guilty for munching on it all by herself. Yep, I can sure see the evidence. It's alright, Saber. Continue eating. So, did Sakura make that pie?
Yes, the fruit of autumn is persimmon, but chestnut is also good after all.
Yeah, like sticky rice with chestnuts. So a Marin pie? It's a small, neat one-person shape. While a whole big pie is also good, it's more elegant this way.
Yes, we did our best, all the way from the pie dough.
That is, Sakura looked like she really needed help, and so I was allowed to lend a hand.
Saber making pastry. Now that sure is unusual.
That's right. Folded pie dough makes for a particularly great taste, but it does take quite a bit of work.
Folding it back like that several times is something that even I could do.
It certainly seems like endlessly folding that pie dough is pretty laborious. Frozen dough exists for a good reason.
It was very interesting work, Shiro.
So, my collaborator Saber got the first taste.
Ah, so that's why Saber's eating in Sakura's room. A sampling that became an extra snack between meals. So it's actually the result of cooperation between the two of you. How's it taste, Saber?
Yes, the sweetness of the chestnut and the texture of the dough work exceedingly well together. My hat is off to Sakura's skill with pastries.
Thank you, and to you too. The dough work was worthy of a royal title.
Is that right? How do I say it? The atmosphere between these two is unusually friendly. They usually get along, but today the sweet atmosphere is not unlike some secret girls' tea party bond.
Oh, right, Saber. How were the cakes in your country? Were there lots of unusual fruits and fillings?
I was just gonna say sugar hadn't been invented yet.
Might as well not have been.
Yeah, right? Unfortunately, sugar had not yet seen much use around that time. Such sweet confections had yet to be developed.
Ah, is that so?
For the banquets, the cook tried their best with the skills they had.
When she talks about her country's food, Saber dulls in an indescribable way. However, England is the birthplace of afternoon tea. The rest of the cooking aside, shouldn't the snacks taste good, even if they're a bit simple? I think this is Sakura.
Okay.
Then, a cake like Mitsuzuri-senpai's was the usual fare, was it not?
What? Wait, Mitsuzuri? She bakes cakes?
Yes, I got a few from her. She's pretty good at making the kind with baking powder, didn't you know?
American. That's right. Mass production like that is something she sure would be great at. Finding a breakthrough technique to improve a sketchy taste would certainly be Mitsuzuri style. I want to see her try making okonomiyaki one of these days.
The new world's cake. Quantity before quality. And who cares what the others think?
With a clink, Saber puts down her fork. It's fucking shitting on American cake today.
So mad!
The sampling of the Marin pie seems to have promptly come to a conclusion.
This was a splendid display of skill. A sample like this will hold its ground even against Lafleur's Western confectionaries.
Oh? personally approved by the Saber, the picky gourmand herself, the pear's Marin pie is set to be a big hit. Then one more thing. Hey, Sakura, is there still some left?
Yes, everyone's portion is still baking, so let's have it as a dessert after lunch.
Good, now the dessert for lunch is decided. The thing is, I can't really think of a good lunch to go with it. After all, even after udon, a Marin pie is just...
I do not have a problem with noodles.
Then pasta? We have some canned anchovies, olives, and vegetables to go with it.
Alright, then we'll go with a light lunch. The masterpiece you two made cannot be truly appreciated with a full stomach.
It's okay, Senpai. Everyone has a separate stomach for sweets.
Saber nods vehemently in agreement. Such overwhelming persuasive power. Our female's formation is really reliable at times like these. Okay, let's not worry about making it lighter. Since you made the pie for all of us, I'll prepare the lunch by myself. You two can take it easy for a while.
Yes, we will accept that kind offer.
The two respond at once in harmony with each other.
I can't do that.
Nodding and smiling, I leave the room. Well then. Let's go make some extra special tasty pasta to be a worthy match for the Marin pie.
I had to look up
That's
Marin
awesome.
pie because I wanted to...
Yep, also did that.
Where's main screen? Here we go. There's no Jake on this one. Because, like, I'm with you on... You make other nut pies, why would chestnuts not be valid, right? But I didn't really know... Like, I don't know. Some of these pies look good. Others of these pies do not look good. But I guess that kind of goes for most pies, right?
Yeah,
Why
right.
why are there feet pics? In this Marin groups?
Marin is a Dragon Ball character, I think.
That's really funny. Okay.
Put some chestnuts in there. The rest of it's cream, and then there's like cream cheese and puff pastry. So it's like a cheesecake with chestnuts.
That sounds rad AF. Cooking stream win? Never, dude. My kitchen is literally a hallway.
And you only have eggs in your fridge.
And I only own eggs. As Jake is like,
I have a kitchen. I don't want to do a cooking stream. Everyone's just gonna make fun of me.
okay, there's nothing new. Do we want to skip?
Skip. It's after 9 p.m. There are no major events. Da, 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 da. Oh.
Oh, we have a decision to make.
Let's go fight Archer on the bridge. Fuck this guy.
I literally...
Oh, I mean.
Can we go egg someone? We have only 4 eggs left right now in my egg fridge. So we have to aim
Like egg your
carefully.
neighbors. Just step out into the hallway and throw an egg.
That'd be so fucked.
Getting egged on the inside of your house and then being like, Paige, what the fuck?
I would be so mad.
Alright, do we make it across the bridge this time? Crossing the bridge, we head over to Shinto. There's nobody on the pedestrian walkway at this hour. Tonight, with no cars on the roadway, the sound of the breeze from the sea echoes around us. This brings back memories. Back then, we went to the church together just like this, didn't we?
I was wearing a giant yellow coat. Yes, Shiro, who still had not understood what it meant to be a master. I, who had not yet become your servant, and Rin, who had still been our enemy. Looking back on it again, we truly were an odd trio, weren't we?
They were chuckles. Both of us are laughing from the memories of that night half a year ago.
Sorry, doing character laughs is so funny because I have no idea how they would sound. I didn't think that far ahead, right?
Right, yeah. I remember it even now. No, I'll remember it for the rest of my life. That night was special. All the time I spent with Saber during the Holy Grail War was special, but that night was the beginning of it all. But Saber, you're in a pretty sour mood. Granted, having just met, we couldn't talk that much, but you were totally silent all the way to the church, you know?
Of course I would be. Now that it is over, I can tell you, the way I had been treated was infuriating. If you were going to disguise me, there ought to have been a better way of doing so.
I see. Milady Saber was displeased by the yellow raincoat.
Just put a fucking tarp over her.
Then again, she's using it quite often. Is that some type of silent protest against me?
It appears that you have something to say. Very well. As your apology for that incident, let us settle this now. Shiro! I was saying!
Sword bounces against light. The aftershock causes the air in the bridge supports to vibrate.
Stay back. A hostile servant is attacking.
Second shot. I can't grasp what's happening. Saber stands in front of me, repelling the incoming bolts of light with her sword. Where they're coming from, I can't tell. A hostile servant? Shit, who the hell? The third shot. Saber once again deflects the bolt of light. This is not good. That one was definitely more powerful than before. She managed to defend against the last shot, but if the rest keep increasing in force, how long will Saber be able to hold out? If Saber were alone, she'd move forward while deflecting the bolts and could probably take the sniper down before she's defeated. But the one being targeted is me. The moment Saber moves away, I'll be pierced right through. As long as Saber's protecting me, she can't move forward. No. In the worst case, we may not even be able to retreat to Miyama, and because of me, one of the shots will...
Shiro, I will block these attacks. For now, do not move.
Fourth shot. There's urgency in her voice. The enemy knows that I'm her weakness. Saber takes an unreasonable posture. She deflects the bolt of light, raining down a wide-open Emiyashiro. At this rate, Saber's going to lose. I know it needs to be done. In short, defending myself is my own responsibility. I focus my nerves. I could see the incoming shots, and if they can be seen, they can be stopped. The old me may not be capable of it. But the Emiyashiro that survived through the Holy Grail War must have the experience and ability to make that possible.
Sick.
And then the fifth and final shot. Saber's knocked off her feet. No doubt about it. These bolts of light are long-range shots, using noble phantasms. No matter how powerful she may be, Saber cannot defend against long-range sharpshooting where each bullet's a noble phantasm. If Saber were alone, she could have avoided any number of them without having to deflect them with her sword. Saber, watch out!
Shiro, wait! I can take one hit!
No, you can't. Saber will be defeated by the sixth shot. That's the conclusion drawn from this method of defense.
Don't underestimate.
Don't underestimate me.
Ooh, sorry. We're both arguing.
Don't underestimate me. Fuck, I can't say that word. You underestimate my fastness. Don't underestimate me.
You said underestimate fucked up so much more efficiently than you said it when you were actually trying to say the word. I hate that.
I said underestimate my fastness so many times in my life. I can watch my own back. I glare at our attacker. I see the light being fired, aimed at my forehead. I see it. Now that I see it, next I... Huh?
We're so fucking dead.
I totally forgot. What was I supposed to do next? fucking Saber, don't worry, I got this. And then just standing and getting rocked by a bullet.
In the fucking forehead.
I screwed up. What was it? What did I do wrong? Was I forgetting something, or have I not learned something yet? Where did I miss the fundamental part of skills possessed by the man named Emiyashiro? My brain comes oozing out from the hole in my forehead.
Ew.
I can't really hear what she's saying. What should have been done? What was it that I forgot? My mind is becoming distant. I drop out of the race without even reaching the 4th day. This still wasn't enough. Perhaps I couldn't use it because I hadn't tried it and just took knowing it for granted. Now, where do I go to fully grasp the fundamental abilities of Emiyashiro? The game really pointing at you, like the player being like, go figure out projection again.
Dead bad end.
Dead bad end. No, we do know who this is from the story Sweet Clips. We got sniped and saw that it was Archer earlier on in the loops.
We get nothing new all the time.
I'm pretty sure the game tells you when you get a wallpaper, bro.
I know,
Just
listen.
like sneaks it in there.
I have questions, and I want answers.
Oh, it's really hot in here. Let me be right back 1 second.
Fine. Alright, you ready for the mystery person in our storage shed?
Yeah, this might even just be the thing we need to get through that bridge.
That's what I'm thinking.
Was there nothing on the streets? Did you look?
I did. This was the only new thing.
Yeah, cool. For no reason whatsoever, I end up in the storehouse. Huh? Did I forget something here? I don't remember leaving anything of importance in the storehouse, but let's check it out anyway. So, what am I doing? After fumbling around with the junk and cleaning up the shelves, I finally remember my original intention. Although the storehouse is overflowing with junk, there's nothing misplaced here. No, since this lost object had no clear definition in the first place, it's now destined to be forever missing. But this is kind of bugging me. What is it that I've left behind? I wonder. Let me try applying my fist to my forehead. Sadly, the external application of force brought no flashes of insight with it, leaving nothing but pain behind. Did you hit it? What?
Yeah, he fucking tapped his own goddamn forehead.
Ow.
He's trying to jog his memory.
Did I bump my head on something while I was asleep?
You lost your brain.
I only hit it lightly, yet I feel numbingly sharp pain in my forehead. Bad enough to bring up disturbing images of an arrow piercing through my skull.
Wait, God, what?
He has the vague memories of the previous loops.
That's so weird.
We kind of knew that, right? Because we have like weird feelings of where to go and like people we've met before.
Uh-huh. We're getting
And like when we saw Karen, it was like, oh, I've seen you before. So I think we just get weird deja vu of previous time loops.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Seeing how I've already searched for it all over, I bet it's not even in the storehouse. It's not like I use it for anything but repairing broken stuff. No way I'd leave anything important in here. Thus, having reached consensus with myself, I leave the storehouse. As I step outside, a strong sense of unease hits me one last time. Not about the storehouse, but something about what I just said. Oh, well, we're getting there.
Senpai, do you have a moment?
As I rest in my room, I hear Sakura's voice. Sure, I reply, and she comes in. Huh? Did I forget to bring out the laundry or something?
No, that's not it. Today's dinner. What should we do about it?
Oh, is it time already? Have her eyes up. Weekends mean that a lot more people are coming over for dinner, and we might not make it in time if we don't start soon. It was your turn today, right,
Yes, if you have anything particular in mind. But I should listen to Saber-san and Fujimura-sensei's suggestions too.
Alright, I'll help you out. My break has been interrupted anyway. It'd be more meaningful to help out Sakura now.
But you were resting, Senpai.
I've had my fill. Well, if you become so skilled that you don't need my help, there's probably nothing for me to do.
No, I haven't. I still haven't learned all the secrets of the art from you.
Yep, and that's good. Okay then, let's get cooking.
He's like, you still need me.
Amateur.
Senpai, that smile is off limits.
Oh.
Oh.
Hmm?
It's nothing, okay? Then please help me, Senpai. Huh? This box is...
Sakura notices something and stops. Yeah, that's the box of fruit Fujine brought over. It's their fucking persimmons.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 boxes of persimmons, we gotta eat them all again.
Did Fujimura-sensei share some with us? How kind of her.
Wow.
There's so much. Is this all of it?
I think she has more over at her house.
Apples would have gone pretty quickly if we had just made pies, but persimmons, what are we going to do with these?
It might just work. I start picking them out of the box. The size should be about right. Sakura, let's use these as ingredients for today's meal.
Oh, what do you mean, these? You mean the persimmons?
Yeah, it's the second best thing to apples in cooking. Should be able to make something like a salad. So let's use these for today. It'll certainly be a first. It's about time I start exploring the culinary frontiers, though. The god of cookery must have put these in our house to guide us.
That does sound intriguing.
Then let's count out a few. First the firm ones, then the soft ones will be for dessert tonight.
Okay.
Sakura uses her skirt to carry the persimmons. How should I put this? It's a really feminine thing to do. I'm actually a little envious of the persimmons now lying on her skirt.
Oh my god.
Oh, to be a persimmon on Sakura's skirt.
Sometimes his inner monologue it's just so obviously a teenage boy, and other times we're just doing fine. We're cruising along, nothing weird. And then other times you're like, we're 15. Yeah.
Yeah, down bad.
We're down super bad.
Senpai, what kind of menu were you thinking of?
Sakura asks as she washes the rice. I did say I was going to use them, but I can only stare at them now piled on top of the cutting board. Now that I think about it, not that many dishes need persimmons.
And shall we make some salad first? I think we have some daikon radishes.
Daikon and persimmons, sort of like raw fish with vegetables and vinegar, although it's still only a side dish. No matter how much I stare at them, no ideas come to mind. I finally give up and look inside the refrigerator for more ingredients. With a lot of ingredients, it's like solving a puzzle. This and this. We could even use this.
Bacon? Oh, susumiyaki? Like asparagus or potato?
Gotta give it to her. It's pretty accurate for just glancing over the ingredients. It looks like she dumpling wrap or cheese, though.
Oh, say that last time again. Lime.
It looks like she hasn't noticed the dumpling wrap or cheese, though. I'll be wrapping and frying them. I'm gonna cut the persimmons with cheese and fry it all in the gyoza wrap.
Then the only seasoning will be salt, right?
Right. Since both are somewhat sweet, adding stuff like soy sauce could easily spoil it. Either way, it's still a pretty simple dish. We're yet to leave the side menu territory, though.
That's awesome, Senpai. I wouldn't have thought of it myself. Then tonight's menu will be...
Persimmon salad with dressing, persimmon fried dumplings, persimmon bacon wraps.
Right.
Sakura's reaction is only lukewarm. I know what she wants to say. The dinner table would indeed look pretty desolate with just this much.
We can't put persimmons in the miso soup. How about mixing persimmon with rice for sushi rolls?
That's good, but we still don't have a main dish. And so, Chef Mato, as I assume my didactic tone, Sakura straightens her back in attention.
Yes, Chef Emiya.
Good reaction, thank you. So, as I was saying, tonight being a persimmon special night, following with the concept.
Yes, the concept.
Chef Mato's eyes are fixed on me, full of anticipation. In other words, the highlight, the main dish of tonight. I'd like to leave it up to you, Chef Mato.
Yes, you have said what I hadn't. Wait, what?
Sakura's surprised at her recently gotten big role.
That's.
Sorry, Senpai, I don't have any ideas.
Oh no, there's still plenty of choices. Okay, a hint. Today will be the persimmon special night.
Could it be?
Sounds like she picked up on it. Wasting no time, she gets out a package of seafood from the refrigerator. That's right, since it's the persimmon special night.
Oysters?
I like that they, told us the wordplay here.
Yeah.
That was nice of them. Right, persimmons and oysters. It's just a pun. They're both part of the flavor of autumn.
I see, that's great, Senpai. I have to say it's a little corny, but that's what makes you my teacher.
That's a complicated way of speech my student has adopted. Anyway, back to the main topic. These oysters in the fridge. Did you buy them, Sakura?
Yes, although I prefer the live ones with the shell intact.
The ones you could eat fresh by just sprinkling lemon on? Yeah, not the kind of luxury we can afford. So what do you do about these? Fry them?
I was thinking about gratin?
Gratin.
Gratin? I was thinking about gratin myself, but fried sounds good too.
Alright, we're all set with both concept and variety. With the dishes planned, there shouldn't be any complaints. Even Fujine should be happy. Let's divide this up. Salad and gratin will be yours, and all frying and bacon will be mine.
Wouldn't this be too much for you, Senpai?
You'd be taking care of the white sauce, and more would be too much for you. Dishes requiring fire are best when done by one person.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, but Sakura, you'd be taking care of the white sauce.
They do this shit intentionally, right? It has to be intentional.
We skillfully divide up the workload. Preparing food for this many people, we have to plan the oven schedule, and even with 2 cooks, it's quite a lot of work.
Let's get started, Senpai.
Let's first skin the persimmons. They're seeds, you have to cut it the right way.
Okay, I'll do my best.
I love their little, play chef thing they did. That was cute.
That was cute.
We're gonna hang around.
Oh.
Oh. Ryder's important to talk to, but certainly not gonna be first. Yeah, see Taiga in a minute. Now then, speaking of things to do in the living room.
Have a rest.
Alright, well, I googled gratin, and it's apparently pronounced gratin. And
you lied to me.
I've been saying it wrong for years. But it's also a French word, so it's probably gratin, you know? And who cares?
I like how I asked you and you were like, suspicious. Now I have to look it up.
Yeah.
The plot twist being that you were wrong.
Another long, tiring day. Just a normal day as always, but all the events really tired me out. Take a bath and brush my teeth. Turn down the gas, lock the doors, and that should be it. Huh? I wonder if Fujine went home. It'd be bad if I locked everything up while she's still here. No, wait, she has the house key. It's not like she'd leave everything wide open when going home. Escort her home? Nah, she has a scooter now. That'd be pretty hard. Besides, the Fujimura group members might come to greet her on the way. If so, she should be well protected by her fucking Yakuza parents. It's okay. Let's just go to bed. Good night. May tomorrow be another good day.
Damn, we really said fuck Fujine. Just kidding.
What? Poltergeist? Did we ever have such fun things in this house?
Yeah!
Ah! Who is it all of a sudden?
Why are you sleeping so peacefully, Shiro?
Ouch, you're Fujine, aren't you?
Haha, you thought Saber-chan would do something like this? Don't say that, Shiro. It's been 3 hours since the pizza and I'm hungry.
Don't act so proud of yourself. Not even Tosko would knee drop me as I'm sleeping. Wait, you haven't gone home yet?
Not yet, the night is still young.
Hawk says it's not quite 10 p.m. yet. To say that by that time everyone's sleeping would be overly wholesome. However, at least one person's up until the date changes.
Everyone's falling asleep already. Oni-chan is bored.
Sakura's been busy with the club. Ryder and Saber need to rest out of necessity, and everyone's tired. I am too.
Boring, boring.
You've got a spoiled brat here. I wish you would focus this chaotic energy of hers on school, or at least the archery club. Nah, Fujine couldn't focus her energy like that. Yeah, anyway, Fujine, just go home and go to sleep already.
I'll go home if Shiro plays with me.
Play what with you? You want to play cards? I'm drowsy, but I'm not so sleepy that I can't endure this. A midnight game with the two of us. I'm not sure if it makes me feel nostalgic or lonely.
Is that stirring you up?
Anything is fine, but it needs to be doable with just 2 players. Poker or speed?
There's still a better chance of winning at speed.
I guess doubt was never your thing. I can tell a lie as soon as a card is dealt, after all. Tozuka and Sakura are also both surprisingly good at that game. They're able to escape sticky situations quite well. Well, that aside.
I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah, Saber and Sakura would get fired up if they were here, but they're both sleeping. Going to wake them up would be too awkward. I can't say that's because Fujine is feeling lonely with a straight face.
It's been a long time since the two of us have talked about what's on our minds.
There's something you want to talk to me about?
Various things. Topics you've been avoiding, like your future.
Ah, Fujine touches on a painful spot. That's right. Fujine is worried about my public and private matters, so I can't handle this sloppily. Understood. I realize we need to talk about it eventually, so go ahead.
It'd be difficult to talk about, It'd be difficult to talk about in front of Saber-chan or Sakura-chan, and you don't come to the guidance counseling office when called.
First of all, I don't think I've ever been called there. Okay. I stand up from the futon.
Huh?
She looks up at me with confusion.
What's wrong, Shiro?
I'm gonna make some tea. Is Genmaicha alright?
Sure, and bring my cup, please.
When a conversation starts getting long, it's best to have some tea. Ah, right. The hot water in the pot's already cooled off. I can't make tea unless I boil it again. I could boil it quickly in a kettle. I was going to be quick, but it took longer than I expected. My apologies to Fujine for the wait. It was my idea in the first place. Well, I won't get smacked for making her wait a bit. In addition, she suddenly showed up tonight and woke me up with a knee drop. I certainly wish she'd done that a little differently. That would be a luxury. Fujine has acted that way since way back when, and she'll continue to be like that. But back then I used to retaliate. So we had pretend martial arts, and you didn't win until the other tapped out from an arm lock. Back then, Fujine was bigger than me. I wonder who would win if I went at her with all I have now. God, I certainly hope it's you, Shiro.
I love that Fuji, he thinks that it's possible that she could beat him at this time.
Like, Shiro's just, like, outwardly jacked, and also just, like, a late teens boy.
I know, but I know that we know that, but I love that he's like, wow, it's kind of like a coin flip, you know? And you're like, really?
Mm-hmm. Like, is it? Is it a coin flip? You've been stabbed so many times. Even though I've gotten taller, that doesn't mean I could beat her now. While I was thinking about Fujine, the water got to the boiling point. I quickly prepare the genmaicha, pouring it into Fujine's tiger-striped cup and mine. Now then, let's see how patient she was.
You want to take bets on her being asleep?
If she sneaked into Saber's room in the meantime, it would sure be a relief, but it could become problematic. Hey, Fujine, the tea... I start to say, but stop myself. While I was getting the tea, she's already dozed off, and right on top of my futon, no less. I went through the trouble of making this tea, only to see it go to waste. She came to my room uninvited, said she wanted to talk, and then when I take my eyes off her, she falls asleep. Truly, this big sister of mine just can't be helped. I put a blanket over her so she doesn't get cold. And the tea, since I brought it here, I'll help myself to it. My bed is now occupied. I'll have to suck it up, take a blanket, and go sleep on a cushion in the living room or something.
Shiro, na na na.
Fujine talks in her sleep happily. See you then. Good night, Fujine. See you tomorrow. Tonight, I'll probably have a nostalgic dream. That was cute.
That was cute. I would like to see Fujine play Uno, though.
Freaking out.
Get her to pull like a +10.
As I was passing through the living room to start the usual lunch preparations, I noticed Saber, engrossed in reading, quite unusual for her. Saber can't read.
She can't?
Oh, I don't know. I was making a joke.
I was gonna say, well, the letters clearly have changed over time, but they get all the knowledge they need to be in this time period, so she should be able to read. Right?
Yeah, probably. I would assume that's under the umbrella of things you need to survive in the time period.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a pretty vague umbrella.
Yeah, I guess intentionally, right? But it would be really funny if she couldn't read. And we had to teach her how to read. Okay.
Having not noticed my presence just yet, she's leaning forward, her cat-like eyes wide open, staring intently at something on top of the table. While I'm sure I'm interested in the contents of that magazine now, I wouldn't want to interrupt. I'll just go straight to the kitchen.
Shiro, great timing.
For what? As I turn around, Saber finally peels her eyes off the page. The thing she presents in front of her chest is a large magazine with a colorful banner headline. That's a bit of a surprise. I imagine Saber would be interested in more serious magazines.
Shiro, what kind of taste does this foie gras have?
Yeah. Foie gras?
Yes, that. Also, what about caviar, truffles, shark fin, bird's nest soup, matsutake mushrooms, splendid Alfonsino, spine lobster, Jinhua ham, Peking duck, guinea fowl, pufferfish, soft-shelled turtle, wassenbon sugar, Yubari melon, Matsuzaka beef.
Oh, hold on. What on earth are you talking about? Saber's eyes were so serious, I unconsciously got scared and interrupted her. Why are you suddenly so interested in those things?
This.
And so, Saber turns the cover of the book she's holding towards me. High-class foods you have to try once? What is this book? I don't recall buying this book. Come to think of it, there's no reason for me to have it either. Sakura has a collection of recipe books that I'll never be able to match, but this is more like a guidebook.
Taiga left it in here some time ago.
Now I understand. I can see the underlying motive. She probably thought by leaving here in the living room, Sakura would look it over and say, okay, let's have matsutake mushrooms for dinner tonight. And judging by the shine in Saber's eyes, Fujine's plan is already about 50% successful. So you're saying you're interested in this?
Yes, these are all ingredients I would like to taste. I'm certain they would all be delicious.
Saber visualizes the high-class ingredients she's yet to try. But with the normal person's access to high-quality goods, I doubt I can rise to the culinary standard of a high-ranking person. Can you live in a castle as a king? That's very luxurious. Crap, it wasn't like that. What a gaffe. Certainly, Saber lived a courtly life. However, at that time, there were no pompous royal feasts or formal table manners for that matter. To begin with, the French brought high-class food with them. What century are we talking about here?
Shiro, I believe I told you before. In my time, there were no plates. The meat was merely cooked and thrown onto the table, and you shaved it off with a knife.
Sorry, Saber. That was my bad.
She's like, I've seen the horrors.
Saber's food PTSD coming up again.
Yeah!
While I do want to say that you can have whatever you like to eat as an apology, indeed, with our household's finances, saying, alright, how about we go eat there with that menu is an impossible dream. It's a stretch, but if it's for you alone, I'll manage it somehow.
Me alone, you say?
Yes, that's the limit. Apart from that, if Tosca lends me a hand with an investment of a jewel or something, maybe I could take everyone out to a fancy place in Shinto.
Knowing Red in that kind of a fictional scene is hardly imaginable.
I agree completely. She's distinctively cheap, stingy, and a born miser. I don't want her to hear her complaining. Besides, I simply can't imagine Tosca being that lavish. Yeah, I do want to take you to a rich celebrity-like place someday, but until then, you'll have to put up with the food that I make.
What are you saying, Shiro? I am very satisfied with the food in this house. I have never considered myself to be patiently enduring it.
You said such a wonderful thing with a straight face. If you say it like that, my fighting spirit will be boosted, even for just the lunch preparations.
Therefore, I believe that someday you will personally harvest high-class ingredients. You will make a splendid meal, which you will use to decorate this dining table.
Huh?
Because I believe in you.
What do you believe in? Saber throws out a reckless word of belief. She flips through the magazine in her hand and finally opens the page she was after.
Yes. Goose. Foie quack. Foie quack? How about we start...
Flock.
Flock?
No, I think it's foie quack, yeah. You had it.
A flock would be so funny. How about we start from the matter of feeding and caring for the goose itself?
Quack, hold on a minute, Saber.
If a goose is too much trouble, a pig is another choice. As far as feeding livestock goes, pigs are ideal. Moreover, did you know, Shiro? According to this book, only sows can find truffles underground. Of course, there are different varieties of ham, so we will have to choose the breed.
Give me that. I'll make sure to smack its rightful owner with it. In one smooth motion, she stands up and quickly evades my hand. Nimbly walking through the corridor, she puts on the slippers and goes out to the yard. Hey! Saber, it's dangerous to walk without looking down.
You finally noticed, Shiro? Compared to my faraway castle, the Emiya residence is missing something. That is, a vegetable garden and a livestock hut. Fortunately, there is plenty of space here in the yard. Oh, could it be that Kiritsugu anticipated this and thus secured an appropriate site?
Nope. Dad wouldn't have had such particular foresight. Well, if you really want to try, I can give you some space for a decent-sized kitchen garden. But we won't be raising a sow, goose, or turtle. Just that tigress alone is enough.
Tiger, highly valued since ancient times. Tiger meat is said to be horse meat, what sakura is to bamboo. I wonder what it tastes like. Butter?
This entranced Saber, standing in the middle of the yard, seems to have a convenient filter in her ears for my voice. Earth to the king! Come back, your majesty!
Even if a garden is impossible, I will not give up just yet. After all, Fuki City is a natural treasure trove. Mountain vegetables, forests, an abundance of seafood, a fertile land truly blessed by God. The dream continues.
Before that, wipe the drool off your face, Saber. With the demonic book clutched tightly to her chest, Saber looks up to the clear autumn sky and sees the faraway food kingdom.
This is the entire plot of Cooking with the Amia Family.
Yeah. And they rolled with that for 12 episodes.
And they made it for 12 episodes.
Or however long it was. Sounds about right.
Alright.
Skip. We're running out of house activities. Saber time. More Saber. More Saber. I'm taking care of preparations for tomorrow's breakfast and the dishes that I've been putting off. The breakfast stuff is done. While I'm making sure the oily frying pans are sparkling clean, everyone's relaxing after the meal and playing cards in the living room behind me. They've probably been at it for an hour already. Have you been cleaning for an hour? At first, both Saber and Ryder were just learning the rules, and it was pretty quiet, but now, far from that, the atmosphere has been completely different.
Honestly, could you imagine how many dishes you make dirty when you cook for 5 people?
We, cook for 4 at Maria's place pretty often, because her sister and her sister's boyfriend are there. And, yeah, it's definitely more, but an hour? They also make fucking 18 plate dinners, too.
Yeah, he's like, we need 5 dishes minimum, and you're like, nunny?
I could clean for an hour. I simply wouldn't cook. Ryder reaches for the card on the right. Ryder reaches for the card on the left. Ryder draws the one on the left, as if it was only natural.
She saw right through me. How? Why? By what means?
There isn't much to it. Minor details aside, they're playing Old Maid. Whenever Fujine makes a face like that, the game definitely isn't going her way.
Geez, Ryder-san's really just too good. It must be mind reading. No, you must have a partner. For instance, you there, housekeeper. Why are you spending an endless 30 minutes washing that frying pan?
Fujine points her finger towards the kitchen. However, Ryder's sitting with her back towards me. If anything, I could be helping Fujine cheat by watching Ryder's hand. Yeah, whatever. Stop with the boring talk and enjoy the game. If you keep losing until the end, become the grand loser, you could just retreat back to the Fujimura group. Squeak, squeak, I'm rubbing the underside of the pan. That's the sound of me rubbing.
You're almost my younger brother. What are you saying? No way I'll be defeated. I'll keep going until victory is mine. It's still a game of chance. Play it 100 times and the wins and losses got to even out.
A howl echoes in the distance.
Woo!
Compare this and this. Repeat 100 times, determine whichever one is greater. What kind of game is that? That is, in a game that balances both luck and skill, you can't judge skill with just 1 or even 10 rounds. Skill is something that will be revealed over a long period of time, not a single match. That said, Fujine's line of thought will destroy her. Playing 100 rounds won't result in a tie, it'll just make their respective abilities painfully clear. Well, she seems to be an expert at deceiving herself with something like, let's see, I guess about 3 more times would be enough. Well, in any case. Fujine, her face as easy to read as ever, has another card drawn by a very apologetic-looking Sakura sitting to her side. Needless to say, the game ends with Fujine in the last place.
So something's fishy. Could Sakura-chan be a psychic too? That's awful. Why'd you hide it until now?
Yeah, that's just funny.
Fujimura-sensei, how about we try something else instead of Old Maid?
For example?
He's probably trying to come up with something where revealing your hand through facial expressions doesn't matter as much. Bluff and President are the first ones out. That said, after a nervous breakdown, going feral and messing up the whole place, there are many difficulties explaining the rules to the other two.
How about blackjack?
Oh, very well. I accept your challenge. And how do you play that?
Sakura proceeds to explain the rules while pretty much just playing with Fujine. There are fewer hands than in poker, and the game itself is just a slow accumulation of points, almost like a sword fight. Even letting your emotions show shouldn't make you lose, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna bust! Going bust! This is the gambling bankruptcy stuff that people talk about, isn't it?
Flip that. Well, it's true that blackjack isn't a great choice for people who don't know when to stop.
That's so fucking funny.
Alright then. The blackjack round started with the score being reset to 0, yet the result is even more prominent than with Old Maid.
Ace of spades. I mean, blackjack.
That's right. Fujine, her hand full of face cards, and Ryder, making use of her own intelligence, both have managed to hold on, but in the end, Saber emerged victorious. It's frighteningly addictive. Have a score higher than your opponent, you'll definitely win the round. Crazed instinct tells you. Gradually, the rules shifted, but basically Saber ended up facing the other three as the dealer. However, in a fight with Saber, the Great Dragon, all three of them had a weakness. I guess Sakura and Ryder are two of a kind. They both have essentially 0 luck. They keep drawing inferior cards and never quite get enough points to be competitive.
Wow, I went over 21 again!
It goes without saying that Fujine draws too many cards and destroys herself before she gets a chance to participate. And yet, come to think of it, she's the only one to sometimes win against Saber. She's up against naturally high luck after all. And then there's her wild nature. Just like a battle between a dragon and a tiger.
Let's up the stakes then, Saber-chan, you and me, 1-on-1. Total after 10 games. The loser gives up dinner's main dish. What do you say?
This...
Who would call her Taiga? Would it be?
I guess it would just be Saber.
Right?
It wouldn't be Shiro, and
Okay.
there's no one else on screen.
You sure went all out, Taiga. In other words, the person that loses will have to remain hungry, constantly searching for food. Is that it? That's right. I wonder if it isn't too much risk for Saber-chan. So, are you brave enough to accept this challenge? The certainty of an after-meal game victory has already been sealed in my heart, yet. Very well, for a challenge of this caliber, I will start playing seriously. My deepest apologies, but the one going on an empty stomach will be you, Taiga.
Saber smiles with confidence.
Huh? You mean you've been taking it easy until now? Well, if I did not, I would have burned a lot of calories.
But the thing is... Wait, hold on. Sweet Clips, you've never heard the game Blackjack before?
Yeah, what?
Like, ever? I had to comment. Alright. But the thing is, no matter who wins, I will likely have to bear the damage. Whichever one will be gaining weight, and whichever losing, it's inevitable that one being starved will eventually revolt.
He said I have
In the
meat
end-
on my hands.
It'll simply come down to one more main dish portion for dinner. As the household treasurer, I will not permit such an outcome.
Oh, do you mean that they say the words blackjack when they get 21? Is that...
Yeah,
Is that
I guess if you
is
haven't
that
like
what you're saying?
played a lot, you wouldn't know that.
You've never played Blackjack in the PSO2 servers?
Is Blackjack in the remake yet? We found that out.
I don't know.
Alright, that's it for Dangerous Games. Tea is ready. It's time for a break. Tea and tea cakes in hand, I make my way through. Feeling the strength of Saber's assault, Fujine reluctantly stepped down. Thankfully, Saber promptly withdrew as well.
Blackjack. You heard me.
So, did Saber dominate the game after all?
Yes, obliterated without a trace of competition.
We chat while sipping tea. Wait, why is everyone but Saber ignoring the tea cakes? What's wrong?
To the victor go the spoils.
I don't buy that excuse, Sakura. And it was Taiga who started gambling to begin with.
Huh, so it wasn't just at the end. She was gambling from the start? Yes, she said it would make a difference in the fighting spirit, that it isn't a true game if you don't wager something valuable. Fujine. As I glance to my side, she's lying down with her back towards me, totally innocent. By the power of a landlord, I declare gambling illegal. It's communal property, and you aren't allowed to privatize it. However, I stop her as she leaps up in joy. In order to teach you a lesson, you're being kicked out for saying stupid things.
How could you say that, Shiro? Big sis did not raise a child to be like this.
Oh, be quiet. Some teacher you are coercing people into gambling. Have some regret for your actions.
Ah, Shiro, you idiot!
Fujine is stomping her feet like a child. That's enough. If you need something in your mouth, have some tea or whatnot. Leave already. To reinforce my point, I'll take a tea cake and put it in front of Saber. Also, I don't care about the details, but a promise is a promise. Fujine's dessert is now Saber's. And if this happens again, make sure to put the brakes on Fujine at that time.
Right, I will watch out from now on. I apologize. I got carried away by gambling without realizing it.
Saber reflects on monopolizing the supply of confectionaries. Did regain her calm.
Naive, too naive. Fujimura Raiga pampers Ilya-chan like you could not imagine, Shiro. Saberton is also at fault. There are other people caught gambling as well. Yep, and that's why I get a rice cracker.
Munch, munch, down goes the cracker. If it's another common outrageous spectacle, but I did establish a new fact today. In a gambling game of 100 rounds, it takes merely 10 for Saber to establish herself as a master.
You guys better go hit up the casinos.
It's so funny that Saber's luck stat means she just, like, is good at gambling.
I love that for her.
Might as well check the streets, right? Unless we... You never know. You see new things pop up sometimes.
Wow!
Oh my god, we're going to the... Oh my god. Oh my god.
No later than she produced that joyful utterance, Ilya dashed into the shop. Ilya, don't run or you'll trip. My voice can no longer reach her. Well then, seems I've been left all alone at the storefront, but... I'm pierced by all kinds of stares from around me. This is a boys' prohibited fancy shop, and the discomfort is nothing to joke about. An urge to flee takes over me for a brief moment, but I can't just leave Ilya behind.
Shiro, you're still here! You're slow!
Ilya returned to lead me inside by the hand. Only with that did the stares from around me soften up a bit. To begin with, we're here simply because she asked. During one of her raids, Ilya saw Saber with her usual stuffed lion. And after teasing Saber for a while...
I want one too!
And thus, we're here to buy Ilya a stuffed toy. Saber's lion is a unique item. Fujine wanted it at a game center. I can't get another one like that. So instead, I'm going to buy Ilya a stuffed animal she likes.
Which one?
Well, leaving that aside. She does look charming in her own way as she examines all the various toys.
Say, Cheryl, I wonder what kind of relationship it looks like we have.
What kind? Well, let's see.
Better look like fucking brother and sister.
Siblings would be impossible. Our hair and eye colors are completely different. We look nothing alike. We're too close in age to be parent and child. Well, going with the most appropriate. Such a cute girl. Don't I look like an older brother looking after you?
Huh? Cute? Really?
Yep, I do think you're cute. Flattery or not, I think Ilia's cute just the way she is. But then, that doesn't extend to the part about Berserker and saying things like, I'll just kill you. That's where Terra surpasses it by a wide margin.
She's cute, but also she has the ability to instill fear.
The escorting. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah,
No,
no,
you're
it's
right.
me. Okay. Then escorting such a cute girl around might be quite troublesome for you too.
How so?
What is it? People can mistake you for the kind of guy that likes little girls like me? Ren said something like that, but I forgot.
Oh, great. What on earth did Tosca teach her?
Did she teach her the word lolly? She knows what a lolicon is?
On the other hand, it's a perfectly logical assumption after seeing me walk around places like these together with Ilia. If I get spotted by a classmate, who knows what misunderstandings will happen. Well, a rumor with no basis to it will stay just that, a baseless rumor, so I should maintain my dignity.
Or maybe you really can become mine.
Ilia clings tightly to my arm. I take back what I said. There's no way to do this in a dignified manner. No, that's impossible. Besides, it's wrong for humans to be the property of others.
He said
As
no
gently
to
as I can.
slavery.
As gently as I can, I shake her off my arm, staying as discreet as possible.
Fine. Sooner or later, you're going to wish you became mine, and you'll regret this.
If that happens, good. Apparently dissatisfied with my answer, she puffs her cheeks and goes back to looking at stuffed animals. Eventually, she finds something cat-like and turns back toward me.
Hey, Shiro, how's this one?
Would you call that a Catman or something? At any rate, that's the toy she's holding out in front of me. All I see is one lazy cat. I really don't know what makes a stuffed animal good, but if you like it, then shouldn't it be fine?
What are you talking about? This will be your new body. Shouldn't you take it seriously? Oh.
Come again? What did she say just now?
FBI?
Ilia, wait a minute. What was that supposed to mean?
Secret, secret. This one's cute too. It's like it's teasing me.
Her eyes happily move on to the next toy. Perhaps it's time to make a run for it. I already hate myself for thinking that I couldn't leave Ilia behind just a moment ago. No, that surely was a joke, for sure. But to be on the safe side, I'd better splurge on some dessert on the way home, just to curry her favor.
She's gonna put
I
you
do like,
in a cat toy.
just like Prismalia,
Oh my god.
which is probably referencing this, not the other way around. I think this
Yes.
is significantly older.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something else?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
As I casually look around the courtyard, I notice there are quite a lot of tree leaves scattered around. I got some time. I guess I'll clean up a bit. There's no wind or anything to scatter the pile, so it should go quickly.
Shiro, what are you doing?
I look over my shoulder toward the voice, and see Saber, who must have come around from the entranceway. Saber, as you can see, I'm just cleaning the yard. I lift the broom to reinforce my point. She looks at the leaves piling up and breathes out a sigh.
This looks to be a lot of work for one person. Why could you not ask someone for help?
Eh? Oh, well, I thought I'd just clean it up by myself.
Shiro, when there are two people, the job gets done faster and the amount of effort needed from each person decreases. We all live under the same roof. All you need to do is ask.
I'm still standing there in a daze. Saber snatches the broom out of my hands. Well, that's true, but...
Listen, Shiro, it is not a bad thing to ask for help. If you have a pair of hands available, is it not natural to use them?
He thrusts the broom's handle right at my face. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Very well. Let us be positive and get right to it.
Saying that, she helped me as if it was the natural thing to do. Saber sure is a hard worker. The plan was to just quickly go through the yard, drag out the bike trailer, then pile up all the leaves and dead wood on top of it. As we went around the yard, the trailer soon filled up.
Shiro, what shall we do with all these leaves?
Usually we take them out with the burnable waste. But since there's so many, it's something I want to try instead.
Last line again? Oop.
But since there's so many of them this time, there's something I want to try instead.
What do you mean, usually?
Oh, we still have time, so let's make a bonfire or something.
Bonfire, you say?
Yeah. Seeing how much effort went into collecting them, we might as well put them to good use. And I have an idea how to do just that. I show her the bag I brought from the kitchen.
What would that be?
Sweet potatoes. Baking them in a bonfire and then eating them is a national tradition. We definitely talked about this before, right?
Yeah, but I think he was out here by himself raking leaves.
Okay.
And then we had to explain to someone else what he was doing with the potatoes. They were like, why wouldn't you just cook them inside? And I'm like, yeah, but the bonfire's right there.
Right.
Tradition?
Well, that's probably an exaggeration, but you could say it's part of the culture at least. Wrapping the potatoes in aluminum foil, I bury them under the leaves and ignite the whole pile. I guess I just imagined that they would kind of marshmallow them, you know? Not like stick them under the bottom and just set it all on fire.
Oh.
It hasn't rained recently. The wood is dry and the fire grows nicely. Oh, they probably like a big stack fire.
Yeah, but it's still just, since it's in the aluminum foil, it's like putting them in aluminum foil in the oven, right? Like it's...
Right. It just seemed hard to get out, you know? Like you stick it under a bunch of leaves, you light it on fire. Like how do you take it out?
Tongs?
I guess.
You seem to be quite adept at this. Is this something you do often?
Nah, I make a bonfire maybe once or twice a year. Listening to the fire pop and crack, I look to my side and see Saber, her face far more gentle than usual.
This sure brings back memories.
Bonfire?
Yes, whether one needed to warm up, cook, or just have some light, the fire was always there. I do not see it that often here, and thus the nostalgic feeling.
That's right. Gas and electricity have only been around for about 100 years, and out of all servants, there's only one that'd be used to it that I can think of.
Watching a fire like this is greatly relaxing.
What does Saber see on the other side of the flame? Flames are not something that brings pleasant memories to my mind. The image that she sees will be different. When I think of fire, I think of everyone I know dying. The leaves are almost all burned off, and the fire finally subsides.
Oh, do you just burn off all the leaves and then you and then you oh shit, this is what's unnecessary.
Being careful not to disturb the dancing black ash, I dig out the baked potatoes with a stick.
Oh, see, you
They just
used
wait
a
till it's
stick.
all burned down.
Yeah.
Alright, should be done by now. Work gloves on, I brush the soot off and wrap one in newspaper. It hasn't been torn open yet, but the smell already floats up in the air. Here, Saber, pass. It's hot, be careful.
He said hot potato.
What is he supposed to do with it? She's just gonna grab it? I toss the first potato to Saber, then dig out the remainder out of the ashes.
What about you, Shiro?
I need to take the rest out first, then I'll have some. Go ahead, they're best when they're still hot.
Oh, I guess he meant that it was going to be hot to eat.
Yeah, but
And not necessarily, like, obviously it's gonna be warm on the outside, but I think he meant, like, more like be careful when you're eating it.
I just think if that foil is just under a fire, like, that foil's gonna be hot as shit.
Foil cools off pretty quickly. Like, when you take it out of the oven, you know? Like, you just need to wait, like 30 seconds, and it'll be pretty cool. And then he wrapped it in newspaper.
I burned myself on foil kind of a lot.
Just wait 30 extra seconds, Jake.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Like, he took it out with, like, work gloves.
Wait. Work gloves on, I brushed the suit off and wrapped one, but he put it in newspaper.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Like, 30 seconds is not long enough, but if you put it in newspaper, this is fine. Foil's like metal. Like, it conducts heat really well.
Yeah, but, like, it'll also, once it stops getting heat applied to it, it will cool off very quickly.
I don't think that's true, but I'm going to move on from this because this is not something we could ever end on.
Okay, well, listen. When you've got the foil on the pan, right? The pan's still hot and conducting heat, so the foil will stay hot. But if you, like, crinkle up one of the edges, which is not touching the pan, then those should cool off fairly quickly, right? So if it's still making contact with the pan, the part of the foil in the pan will be hot, but the top will cool off. So if you've got something folded in
making contact with this hot-ass potato. Like, the source of heat's still there. The potato's going to be hot forever.
Thermodynamics! I just think it's not.
He wrapped it in newspaper. It's fine. But he wrapped it in newspaper for a reason. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, but I still think that he's saying, be careful, it's hot. Not necessarily indicating the outside tempe, but the inside tempe.
I think that's true, but again, I missed the newspaper part. The foil's still hot as shit. That part's true.
Jake and I are gonna have to go make fucking potatoes in a bonfire of leaves.
And then you're gonna grab it with your bare hand to prove a point.
I'm gonna get second-degree burns to prove a point. Where are we? Right then.
Yeah. Oh, potato Sprite? Hello. Just eats potato with that aluminum. That's true. That's exactly how I eat potatoes. Hi, Sid. Welcome. She takes one bite and a look of surprise appears on her face. As she stuffs the rest into her mouth, she nods with satisfaction.
Did he unwrap the foil and then wrap them in newspaper?
I think that's just foil. It's just 2D and
hard
to see. Oh, that was a Dentius that just did the gifted subs a minute ago, and he's definitely still here, so I'm sure he appreciates it. Is it good?
Yes, very.
She looks extremely pleased with it. Great. She's a lot of help, so let this be a little reward for all the hard work.
By the way, Shiro, how did you prepare these potatoes before you baked them?
Prepare? I just baked them as they were. I dig the second and third one out before wrapping them in leaflets. When I look up, Saber looks even more mystified than before. What's wrong?
Nothing, just that this sweet potato is so naturally delicious when you simply bake it.
Well, they do say that a simple recipe brings out the true flavor of the ingredients. The really delicious ones are made with just fire and salt, nothing else.
But then, these baked potatoes and that crude cookery, just what is it that makes them different?
By crude cookery, I guess she means the dishes of her time. If baking them was all you did, which should be just the same, the difference might be in the ingredients?
There's just no logic here. If we could have only tasted back then, we could have still fought.
What is it that she sees on the other side of the potato? Greater than the emotions that the flames have stirred. Could it be regret? Well, continuing to eat that sweet potato in the meantime is very much like Saber. Food grudges sure are scary.
Did you say something, Shiro?
Nope, not a thing. And so we stayed there until sunset. A thin column of smoke rises steadily into the autumn sky. Nothing to disturb the two of us, just a plain campfire snack. This scene, gentle in its simplicity, brighter than the strongest summer sunlight, remains shining in my heart.
Side note, they didn't make a Food Wars crossover. They just made a show about cooking with the Emiya family. It's 12.
Yeah, there is a cooking show.
There is a cooking show that you can watch on Crunchyroll. It's 12 episodes, and I think the episodes are only 15 minutes?
Yeah, they're short.
They're not like normal length episodes. Yeah, so if you want to go watch them cook, you can watch them cook. I recommend making food beforehand. You will be hungry.
There's also a video game you can get on the Switch that's just fate cooking.
Oh yeah, they made that too. We're gonna hang.
We're gonna hang with Ryder. Oh, just kidding. Is that new on? No, that's on Saber, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because we hung out with Fujine. Remember, she fell asleep on her bed.
Right. We did Saber also recently.
Yeah, she was the one that was eating the potato.
No, but we did this. Oh my god. We just did, like, last night we also hung out with Saber at dark, which is why it was confusing to me.
Is this because we were going out on walks with her?
No, my god, you're doing this on purpose. The same button. Literally the same button.
Jake's gonna murder me.
I know where you live.
Oh no.
While everyone else is taking a bath, I have some light practice with Saber to help digest dinner. It's more for the sake of exercise than competition, so rather than using Archer's dual-wielding style, I have just one Shinai. Instead of coming at me with the usual flurry of blows, Saber starts pointing out, in a relatively gentle manner, the areas that need improvement.
Your overhead cut still leaves a huge opening. Try to restrain yourself until the right moment.
Of course, gentle is a purely subjective term. My wide-open chest got smacked, and down on the floor I go. Ow, I'll take note. Trying to ignore the pain, I stand up and ready my Shinai once again.
Good, you are getting sharper every day. Let us continue the same way.
Saber seems awfully happy. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Yes, you are definitely improving, albeit slowly. For a teacher of swordsmanship, there is no greater joy.
I see. In front of a coach like this, any student would get motivated. Now let's keep going a while longer. This time I have a secret technique. It's not really something I should show off yet, but as a token of this student's sincere appreciation of his teacher, I also want to show her something good.
Farewell, back to our position, Shiro.
Saber resumes her stance. Just like always, as soon as she sees that I'm not moving, she comes charging forward without giving me a chance to rest. But instead of parrying it from the front, I step to the side as if weaving through, and as we pass each other, she easily avoids the blow I aim at her head. Aw, that was the best one so far, yet you still dodged it so easily. I hang my head in shame.
Shiro, what was that maneuver just now?
Oh, the new Shinai technique? Well, I thought I'd surprise you for once, so Huh? Wait, why I just get the feeling that she's really pissed off? Saber?
Indeed, there's no need to ask where you learned it. That footwork and attack style is definitely Ryder's. Just when did you?
Well, you weren't here, and so I asked her to come practice with me. But then, I'm nowhere near Ryder's skill or speed, so it's more like referencing than actually imitating her.
I see, in other words, you have no qualms about learning from anyone, no matter who the teacher is. Is that it? Indeed, now that I think about it, you copied Archer's technique too, didn't you?
Saber?
You say that your magic is from Rin, and your swordsmanship is from myself, but in reality, you are quite fickle. You know, I could even ignore Archer's influence, but Ryder's, out of all people.
Wait a second, Saber. Are you sure you haven't got the right idea? Wrong idea? She's not listening. Her movement's full of vigor. Saber raises her shinai back into position.
Very well. Come, Shiro. Feel free to use two blades, chains, or whatever you like. Tonight is a great opportunity. Let us show whose fighting style is superior, once and for all.
No, I do realize that yours is the best. Are you upset because I trained with Ryder?
Such a trivial thing does not bother me. I just want to see the results of your studies under all these other people. At this rate, I might as well start watching out for Lancers and Assassins' tendencies.
I hear her murmur. Liar, you're all riled up.
Naturally, we are in the middle of a training session. Now please prepare yourself, Shiro.
What I learned today. First, Saber is still extremely strong, so try not to anger her as much as possible. Second, when it comes to swordsmanship, remain faithful to Saber no matter what the circumstances. And so on. Only now, as my consciousness is fading, do I finally realize Saber's true, dreadful potential.
Oh,
wallpaper!
Wallpaper!
Nice! Dear diary, fucking ow.
Oh.
Oh? What's your name at the station front? That's her? Oh.
I was like, who would say lad? And then as soon as I scrolled down, I was like, of course, obviously. Why would I ever question that? Makidera, that's her name. Sid's got it.
That's it. Lad, why are you sitting next to me? Weren't you the one that came up to me, Lancer? Me and Lancer, one sad pair, sit on a bench at the park. I was here first. He's the one who sat down next to me complaining about stuff. That's so. Hanging out with a dude ain't been the plan. I'm sorry I'm a guy. Would it be better if I were a girl? Would be a very welcome change, that. Hell, I'd let you sit on top of me, too.
Oh my god.
What? Tell
if
your homies you'd let them sit on top of you if they were a girl.
Yeah, it's okay to tell your homies that you let them sit on top of them if they were a girl.
What? Ain't no reason to redden up. Your stuff's still there, ain't it? Idiot! I'm not blushing, and I do still even have my stuff. I'd like to shout that out, but this is a public park. It is, but ain't it enough to say I'd let her too, or I'd sit her myself, or something smooth like that?
Oh my god.
Wait. Oh yeah. That's not smooth, that's harassment. What's that? Weapon? Food? I'm now explaining the concept of sexual harassment to a hero of mythological times. This is too much. It's almost as impossible as explaining what internet is to Tosaka. And if I do try, I'd probably be taken for a clown. Lancer comes from a world where night crawling to plunder the goods was still commonplace. So, what's sad is that I'm stuck here alone with a little kid, right? Can't you just go catch a few like you always do? Sure could, but I ain't seen any good ones swim by. Target in sight. He deploys from the bench in one smooth, fast motion.
Oh
hey,
no!
Ladies.
Not the
Got a minute?
children!
And so it begins. I do wonder what sorts of girls he's picking up this time. Ladies sounds like a big catch.
You're
This
one.
is me, right?
Yeah, you're this one.
Huh? You mean us?
Ladies does appear to indicate all of us. Who are you?
Wait, that's the track and field club. Me? Ain't no suspicious guy.
God, you can't say that.
Me? I'm not suspicious.
Sir, your name?
Well, just call me Lancer, or Fuyuki's Blue Panther. How about that?
The one you see here is Fuyuki's Black Panther herself. Did you know?
Makidera, the self-proclaimed Black Panther, responds to Lancer's remark.
Of course she fucking does.
By all rights, the two of them should have started a fight by now, but strangely enough, they actually seem to be getting closer instead.
Don't say that.
In fact, they may even get along quite well. Ah, so you're the Black Panther. Always thought I'd meet you someday.
He knows? No. Everyone says that, but I'm not really.
Maki-chan, you're famous.
I thought it was only Makidera calling herself that, but I suppose the world is a big place.
No, I bet that was Lancer's first time hearing it too. So, this pretty girl and lovely lady here, are those Black Panthers? Ah, yes, we're Maki-chan's friends.
Yep. Himura and Yukika. We're in the same club. Oh, is this Makidera? Yeah, okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wait, my process of elimination. Yep, Himura and Yukika. We're in the same club and...
Wait, no need to tell me. Black Panther must be a fast runner.
You can tell by looking? Oh.
You have a nice physique. That's amazing. If you're that trained, you deserve the name of Black Panther twice over. God, what a smooth talker. There's gallantry behind that wildness. Max Lancer quickly glances over Himuro. The lady over here, you're not into speed, but rather height. Vertical over horizontal, so to speak.
Oh, that is quite right. You have good eyes.
And as for the young miss... Segusa's the team's manager, so athletics isn't her strong point. Lancer looks to be at a loss for a good positive analogy as well. I'm the manager. Kana-chan's an expert at high jumping, and Magi-chan's an ace at middle distance running.
Seems you're no stranger to this stuff, but what's your field?
Javelin. Makidera either sincerely believes that Lancer is somehow involved with track and field, or maybe she just likes being hit on by men. Whatever the case, Lancer sure is a fine man, much as I hate to admit it. Me?
Yeah.
Oh, my specialty is the javelin throw.
That has to be you, right?
Specialty? Yeah, right.
Huh? So you really are into athletics. That makes me happy.
Javelin throw? That's like what Kubota-kun does on our team.
Oh, you look like you'd be pretty good at that. What is your record?
Like at 8 miles. Speed of about Mach 2, distance around 40 kilometers.
Yeah, how do we explain this?
You know, not only that, it could probably hit the target even if we're on the other side of the Earth. It scares me that Lancer would actually say something so careless to these 3 girls who don't know anything. Right, well, don't think there are too many who can beat me. 2 in the whole world, conditionally maybe 3. Those lightly spoken words carry much truth behind them. Even Makidera and the others who have no idea who they're talking to feel like it's not Lancer's arrogance speaking.
That was that was she moved.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm so envious. Oh.
I see that you just may have the skills to be called Fuyuki's Panther, just like me.
That was Makidera, who couldn't wait to say that she was also great. Aside from that, Lancer seems to be connecting unusually well with the trio. Could this hunting session actually end up a success?
No, it can't.
Well, why don't we go somewhere and discuss that in detail?
Are you inviting us, sir?
Huh? What do we do, Maki-chan?
So why not? We are free after all.
Makidera must be in 7th heaven after being complimented like that. Himuro is still cautious. Saigus is just overwhelmed by the rapid development. Things are going Lancer's way. Oh, am I going to witness a successful hunt of his for the first time? But to see my fellow comrades right before my eyes, even if one of them's a little odd, I can't let them fall prey to his poisonous bite. It's gotta be Makidera, right?
Yeah. Look, Himura. He looks like a strong and interesting guy, right? I wouldn't mind hearing a story or two. I want to have some fun. Indeed. No, if I don't go, who knows what you will do. Let us all go together.
Did I also tag along? Happily, young lady. You're so cute. Do you have a significant other? Lancer's getting excited. Saigus is burning red too. Poor girl. No.
Mister, Yukichi is innocent, so you can't bother her.
I'm sorry. Then, shall we get going? Congratulations, Lancer. Clapping softly, I get up from the bench. And I'm sorry, Lancer. This hunting session, heavens may forgive you, but I will not.
Emiya? What's with that sour look?
Huh? Emiya-kun?
Emiya?
Damn, another acquaintance of yours? That's right. And you know what I'm here to do, don't you? Stop. It's all fine before I cast, but I ain't letting you ruin the catch as I pull it in. It's rude to the ladies, too. He has a point. Does he? As a master hunter, Lancer's determined to follow through on his catch. So, when would you stop? Well, that'd probably be when you or the ladies defeat me.
Why would you say it like that?
Alright, then don't forget that. So there is a way. I may be hopeless in battle, but I do have a trump card for this very occasion. Hey, Himuro.
What is it? You seem to know this person, Emiya. Is he dangerous?
I'm not sure yet. He's a good guy, and I doubt he'll try anything funny, but you never know. Frankly, if that happens, there are only 6 people in Fuyuki that can stop him.
That could be a problem. Then would it be wise to part here?
No, there is a way to bring him down, just in case things go wrong. I whisper a few words to her.
Will that really do it?
Yes, and after you're done, make sure to say the name.
Understood. Sounds like we can handle it.
Hey there, you guys done talking? Yeah, do as you like. Alright, shall we head out, ladies? It's almost noon, so let's go have a bite first. My treat, of course.
Awesome. I want a mac. A mouthful of mac for me, please.
Thank you.
Oh, perfect timing for a good thought.
Closer than ever, all 4 of them leave the park. As they're leaving, Hirmo gives me a quick thumbs up. What did you tell her?
God, I want to know. Is it something about Archer?
So, that's what I'm thinking too. No more than 10 minutes later, I'm still sitting on the bench, basking in the sun.
This is your
Sorry,
boy?
Lancer, right?
Yeah.
Ah! What did you feed me?
They mean like a Big Mac.
A refreshing scream resounds through the clear sky. Kicking up a dust cloud behind him, Lancer runs towards the port with all the speed of a raging bull. What I told Himuro was very simple. If he starts acting funny, find an excuse to feed him a hot dog. I've confirmed that's highly effective, but still, they resorted to that strategy after only 10 minutes? He's one fearsome guy, that Lancer.
Why would he fear hot dogs?
I think it's just because his like whole thing is that he's like a hunter from a long, long time ago, and so a hot dog is just like the most synthetic food you could imagine. Well then, lifting myself up from the bench, I head towards the nearby fast food place. Let's go have lunch at the site of the Hound of Kulan's defeat.
Get
Or
ready.
is it a dog thing? Because his name is the Hound?
Oh, and it's a hot dog?
Oh, they said, like, make sure to say the name afterwards.
Oh, they told him that he ate a hot dog, and he thinks he actually ate a dog!
But he's a dog.
Oh no! That's so fucking funny.
I don't know. That scene was weird, but they're all, like, adults as far as anime's ever concerned, right? Like, that's just as weird as every Persona thing.
Yeah, right? Like, sure.
So they were, like, 17, 18,
Yeah.
which is fucking legal here in the US, so, like, meh. It's weird.
There
but-
are bigger fish to fry, right? Like,
Yeah. It's a bad decision on their end, but like, it's not a crime, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, if I was 17 and I saw that man, I would probably
Right.
also follow him, right? Like,
Yeah.
the problem is always going to be with the adult in those situations. Oh
Right.
no, bit of a fucking hot dog. Do we want to finish this day before we call it?
It's only at noon. That means we got 2 more scenes. We can just save in the middle of the day. I don't think these are all disconnected anyway. I don't think it really matters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if we're done, we're done.
I think we're like 5 minutes over, and 2 more scenes. We might be like 20 minutes over by the end of it.
Yeah, you guys are gonna cut. I can't save in the middle of the day.
Oh, you have to like.
we
pick
have
a
to
scene.
we have to at least pick where we're gonna go first.
Cast in the Shopping District's funny.
Oh, and we got a wallpaper.
Oh yeah.
Save and title. Okay. Special.
It's from Sweet Potatoes with Saber.
Is it just this?
Do we not have that one already? I thought we had that one already.
No, I don't think we had that one.
Maybe not.
That's the
We had all
only
those.
new
Had
one.
that one. Yeah, I guess it is that one.
That makes
Huh.
sense. There's just another Saber one. Did we earn it?
Well, I was just hanging out with Saber.
We earned 500
500.
yen!
Aw, but no new things to purchase.
Okay,
Oh no.
I got.
We spent 100 yen to get bad luck.
Oh no, it's bad luck. This is quite troubling. Apparently, if you print this screen within the next 10 seconds and tie it to a tree, you could draw a new fortune and invalidate this one. It's not very sportsmanlike, but still. Though I guess that's impossible. Well, just go on and clap your hands in prayer. That's right, just think of it this way. Wow, thank goodness I didn't draw terrible luck. I didn't realize hitting the button would automatically pull it. I thought we'd go to another area and then
Yeah.
we'd get to pull it.
That's fine. That was kind of funny.
We have to be aware of September, everyone.
Beware of September for childbirth.
I hate that.
Everybody get your protection on into September.